All right. Welcome, Musties. What's going on? We're here with another live show for the month of October. And yes, I am sporting Giants blue, New York Giants blue, because we had a great night last night. Obviously, we're not going to get into sports, but just FYI, if you understand what I'm feeling tonight, drop a like in the comments, drop a thumbs up, drop a raise hands or whatever you want to put in there. But yeah, I'm here. My name is Jesús, and I am joined by...
I'm Carlos.
And Michelle.
Let's go. Yes. Yeah, so today we're talking about Oba.
Okay, you
yeah.
said Oba, and I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Can you maybe spell it out for people?
I'll let Carlos do it because he's the one who taught me.
Oh, it wasn't me. Oba, it's how the cool kids say one battle after another.
Yes.
Oh, I must not be cool
No,
because I had no idea.
No, it's all good. I saw that reference on Reddit too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people are discussing, because it is kind of a longer title to like keep typing out.
Yeah.
Like people mention like Paul Thomas Anderson, they'll say PTA, and then PTA made Oba, or Leonardo DiCaprio in Oba, or will Leonardo try to date his co-star in Oba, like those kind of things.
Yeah.
The usual.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all the topics today, but for those, sorry, I'm a little loud. If you can hear some bleed over in Michelle's earphones, but for those who have not watched Oba or have watched Oba or watched movies this year, put in the comments what is the best movie of 2025 so far, and then we will pick the comments and talk about those other movies. But without no further ado, actually, Michelle, would you like to give us a quick synopsis here?
Sure. So according to IMDb, the synopsis is Bob is a washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stoned paranoia, surviving off-grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter, Willa. When his evil nemesis resurfaces and Willa goes missing, the former radical scrambles to find her as both father and daughter battle the consequences of their pasts.
Yeah, exactly. When I first saw this trailer and I heard this, like when I first saw the trailer, I was super excited for this movie. I thought it could be the best movie of the year. But then as I kept seeing more marketing for it, I got worried that this wouldn't get political. And I was just so happy and surprised that it got political, that I wasn't afraid to say what I was going to say. And that, both sides, honestly, shots were fired on both sides. But it kept the main thing. What about you, Carlos?
Yeah, I wasn't really anticipating this movie that much. I didn't watch most of the trailers. I saw like one of them that played in the theater a lot. And it didn't really give me a great idea of what the movie was even about. I didn't know what really the story was. I just knew people were looking forward to it because it's a movie with Leo DiCaprio in it, and it's a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So like film buffs, cinephiles, whatever, were excited about that. But yeah, it wasn't until I'd heard like a lot of the really positive reviews that I got kind of interested. And yeah, like you said, because I didn't know what it was about, like seeing how it was just like so bold in showing these this really relevant imagery and the whole real like backdrop that the movie's taking place during. It's so like relevant to what's going on right now. I was very surprised to see that. And it's just like around this incredibly well-made, entertaining, like pretty simple story about just a father trying to reconnect with his daughter,
Yeah, and it definitely showed that you can do chase scenes in movies and it can be, done well. I'm looking at you, The Last Jedi, and Ryan Johnson. But, that's just a little joke towards them. But yeah, it was like a beautiful story about a father-daughter relationship. Once you got past the first act, and I think you said that beautifully with the backdrop of what's relevant today in the political sphere.
Yeah.
I think too, like, I mean, every movie is about relationships in some way. Um, but I think, I mean, that's one thing to remember in real life while all of this is happening is that it's not just like this external thing that's happening politically. It's like these are real people that are going through these situations, and it is like relationship based, and the way that we treat each other is important. And I think like just seeing the father-daughter relationship in this, and not every relationship is going to be easy, and there are going to be situations where you're disagreeing on things and um like going through different things, but I feel like the whole part of the whole film is the relationship between the father and the daughter, and how they really do love each other, and them going through all these different things together, whether it's politically or physically or whatever, like that love is what ties them together and keeps them going throughout the film.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Completely agree. And I didn't put this in our show notes, but I think it's fair to ask, just for people wondering if they haven't seen this movie. Maybe we can give it a rating. And I guess for me, best out of 10, I'd give this movie a 10 out of 10 for me. Um, I think it's pretty much a perfect movie. Like, I could be nitpicky and give it a 9.5, but it's pretty much a 10 out of 10 movie. What about the rest of y'all?
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you.
Let's
Yeah, this
go!
this
Oba!
to me, like, I've seen it like 3 times now.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
just I don't know, I after watching it, I just kept getting that feeling like I need to see this again. Like I need to I need to experience
Yeah.
this again. Like you said, if I have any issues with it, they're so like minute, I can't even really remember them off the top of my head. I should have written some of this down. But yeah, like it's just, to me it's like everything that I want in a movie right now, where it's like very entertaining, very obviously well made. There's like this like incredible level of artistry to it, while it's telling a pretty like wide appeal story. Like it's a story that could appeal to anybody. It's not like a very specific kind of art, like esoteric art film or anything like that. While still feeling like it has that level of, like I said, artistry and skill to it, and being incredibly poignant and like relevant to the times right now. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
First time in history we got three 10 out of 10s.
Heck yeah.
Yo! That's
This-
awesome.
Yeah, I really like, just thinking back, there was really literally nothing that like bothered me about the movie, or it's something I thought they should have done differently. Um, again, I think I've said this somewhere else, but like we saw it at 11 p.m., or like it literally started at 11:30 p.m., and so usually I'm really not the kind of person to be very aware at that time. Like I need my sleep. And the whole time we were watching this movie, I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like in my head, I'm like, oh, like I was like so like into it and like wanting them to succeed and like just really caring about everything in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really like, I don't know, I haven't had that kind of a feeling in the theater since like um okay, I'm for
Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Endgame,
or
or
Endgame?
well, actually Endgame. I think like just that excitement of like what's gonna happen
Yeah.
next and where are they gonna go, and like what's, yeah, like, are the characters gonna be okay? Kind of a feeling. I haven't had that kind of emotion watching a movie in a really long time, and that was at like what 1 a.m. or something. Like it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a really great
Yeah,
film.
I know what you
Yeah.
mean, Michelle, because earlier I also watched I don't know if you guys keep up with anime at all, the Demon Slayer movie. Did you guys hear about that coming out at all? Like,
Yeah. We definitely heard about it. We heard a lot of young people went to go see it.
Yeah, so like briefly, I'll just say like I saw that movie at around 10 o'clock, and I was honestly struggling to stay awake for most of it.
Oh, but I heard it's a very epic movie.
Yeah,
though.
I guess. But I don't want to get into that movie right now. But my point is, the third time I watched Oba, right, one bad after another, I saw it at like around the same time, about like 10 p.m. And at no point was I like dozing off. Like it just, there's something about it that like completely locks you in. Like it grips you from the start and like never lets go the entire way.
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. And like, I've been known lately this year to start falling asleep in movies. Like, what was that movie that you really wanted me to watch and I fell asleep in?
It was the latest Wes Anderson film. I can't remember the
Yeah,
name of it.
yeah,
Phoenician
The
Scheme?
the
The
yes,
Phoenician.
Phoenician
Yeah,
Scheme. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
And it's a good movie, so it's not hating on the movie. It's just I was really tired, but I was really tired going into watching Oba. But yeah, we both stayed awake, and then I watched it with my mom, who always falls asleep in movies, and she stayed awake the whole time. Like she was mad at me in certain parts because she's like, "Why are you making me watch this movie?"
Yeah.
But she actually stayed up during the whole time watching that movie. So like, it really is like an exceptional experience. Like it's just, and I had never watched a Paul Anderson movie, to be honest, up until this point. So now I really want to go back and watch his filmography.
Yeah, me too. Like I'd only seen Boogie Nights before. I've gone back and watched The Master, and I want to watch There Will Be Blood, but I want to watch like all of his movies now, pretty much after seeing these.
Yeah, I definitely want to see The Master. So let's get into what our favorite moments from Oba are. I put some down, but feel free to add some more. I'll just kind of go down the list real quick, and if that jogs your memory, if you want to add any more, definitely feel free to interrupt
sure.
me. But let's see. So first one I have here is Get It Up.
You know, I saw this with my parents as well. I took my parents to see it the second time.
No.
Yeah.
They liked the movie,
How was that?
but that scene was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this when it started. I'm
It
like,
was a little
oh
awkward.
yeah,
Yeah, my mom was like, "What do we make me watch this
Yeah.
movie for?" But binoculars. So just continuing the Sean Penn, perversion,
Yeah.
or I don't know what else you want to say.
Sean Penn.
He really likes black girls, so that's what's important here. And then I put this in here just because I thought it was poignant. Jealous of My Baby.
Yeah,
It's not really like a scene where people are acting. It's just a lot of B-roll, and then it's like voiceover from Tiana Taylor as Perfidia. I just, because I finally have started to realize that postpartum is a real thing. And so I was just like, it really hit me, like knowing postpartum is a real thing. And then hearing her say that, I just thought that was really cool. And I thought, the fact that Paul Thomas Anderson added to it, I thought that was really awesome.
yeah. I thought it made that character a lot more, I don't know, interesting, like multi-layered, right?
Yeah.
Like showing, because it's a movie where like the villains are very clear-cut evil, like irredeemable. There's not like too much nuance. I'm not gonna say they're not interesting and entertaining to watch, because they are, but it's like pretty obvious they're bad, and they could have just made it like this black and white, like good versus evil story, and it kind of is, but like to make that character Perfidia Beverly Hills, I believe is her name.
You said it. You said it perfectly. I'm still struggling
To make that character so like morally, because like, not to say that like that, like you said, she's going through what is it, postpartum how do you
postpartum depression. I think so. Yeah.
So that's like a very real thing that happens, and those emotions are very like, it's very surprisingly like raw to start the movie like that, but also what she ends up doing like later on in that scene, like very interesting, way to like interesting character, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They could have been just very when you have a character that serves that purpose, it's easy to just make them like this, moral like beacon of like good, this paragon of good. But this movie was like, no, the opposite. They're really gray. They make a lot of straight up bad choices too.
Exactly. Or at least choices that makes the audience think that they're
Yeah,
bad.
right. Selfish choices.
Selfish, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of movies, I mean, I can't recall right now like any movie where a mother had a baby and she just like totally abandoned it and the
Yeah,
family and just like I'm gonna do my own thing. So I think like I appreciated that. I mean, obviously that's not the outcome you want like for a baby, but like I appreciated that they showed that because motherhood is not for everybody and it's a really huge deal and I feel like just with the way society is like they make it like women are supposed to have babies and be a mother and like fill this role, but that's not what everybody wants. And I guess, I mean, she was kind of being careless too, the way she was um doing her business, but like it just I don't know, it's just it showed like a different side of being a woman that I appreciated because like there are women who don't want to be mothers and they don't want to be like I guess stuck in that way of that kind of a lifestyle. So it was interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think to me, this is a question I've been asking myself throughout the year, in regards to like studios like Disney. How can you tell these modern stories, push the narrative forward, change stereotypes, but also still bring along people who like more traditional type of stories or older, type of stories. And I think back to films like Strange World, where it, by Disney, Walt Disney Animation,
yeah,
where they introduce, POC and LGBTQ characters, and people had, problems with that. My major issue with the storytelling of that movie is that none of the good characters had any real major flaws, at least like the major core players. And so it didn't allow the audience to see like, even if you may like disagree with certain characters or certain character traits, it's like you can see like they're morally gray, and you can see that the film doesn't always prop them up. um, and so I really like what the writing here from PTA in this movie, because like Perfidia Beverly Hills could have been one of those characters where it's like, POC, revolutionary, Black Pride, a comrade, all this stuff, and it's like we, kind of like a shining example
yeah,
of what we're supposed to be. But then it's like, well, she's also selfish. She's like, she, puts the baby in kind of in harm's way, and so and doesn't really apologize too much about it, and but we can still find some respect for her because of we know the full story, we know the full context of like her wanting to fight for a better world for people. So I just really appreciate that, and that's why I put it as one of my favorite moments in the
yeah,
movie. Next in the list, Lockjaw walking away from death. I think that's going to be a meme. It's going to live in the consciousness
yeah,
forever. It's almost like a Terminator moment.
yeah. It totally.
I yeah, I was just in the theater like, no way,
Mhm.
like no way he's still alive. It was crazy, and every time, like in my second viewing with my when I watched with my mom, people behind us were like shocked because everybody was like almost happy like he was dead, and it's like, oh, that's what he deserves. I overheard people
Yeah.
saying that, and then I was in my head just thinking, just wait, just wait, and then when he walks away, it's like, oh, so good.
Yeah, there's something about Sean Penn's performance in this, and it kind of goes for everybody a little bit. Where there's a lot of really great physical acting in this movie,
Yeah.
and his walk in this, it's like so distinct. The way he just walks
Yes.
in general, every scene he's moving, he's like you said, the Terminator is like a robotic feel. Like he's so militarized at this point that like it's the only way he knows how to act.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think I've already been seeing like TikToks of like people walking like that. Like there's like no like explanation or anything, but it's like if you know, you know, and they're just like walking like but it's like it's just it was so crazy. I think too like he's just like this incessant pain in their
Yeah.
side that like just won't go away, and no
Seriously.
matter what you do, like you can't kill him off.
Hmm.
It's like that thing. It's like he's meant to just like be Terminator-esque of like he can't die, and he's like the bane of their existence.
Yeah. Like just that scene.
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
Oh, go
just
ahead. My
that
bad.
scene where he he goes to the safe house or whatever that they're keeping Perfidia at for witness protection, whatever. Like the way
Yeah.
he walks back to his
Oh,
car to get the little battering ram.
yeah. No, that's true. That's
Anyway,
true.
sorry, you go ahead.
No, yeah. I was gonna keep us going, because there's so much to
Yeah.
talk about. I put this in here. I'm just gonna keep saying this for the rest of the year because it's helped. It's honestly helped me calm down. But Ocean Waves,
Yeah.
Bob. Ocean Waves. It's just like Benicio del Toro was just perfect. He was like, my mom liked him. I feel like everybody
Yeah.
loves him in this movie. He was pretty much the second act. He helped really like ground the film. But yeah, Ocean Waves. I just loved it, and yeah, it's my phrase for the rest of this year.
I think he was a good balance against Bob's character, who was like a paranoid smoker kind of a person.
Yeah.
But it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like he was so chill through the whole thing. No matter what was happening, the police were coming, like raids were
Hmm.
happening. Like he's just like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna go here, and then I'm gonna walk this way. And it's like, just like so like calm. So I feel like just him being that presence, it really helped Bob's character, who was like just panicking the whole time, like get through what he needed to get through. So it was really cool.
Yeah, there's like a moment that I noticed on a rewatch with his character in that scene where Bob is he's at Sensei's house, right, and he's on the phone and he's trying to get the rendezvous point, and we're kind of cutting back from that to what's his name, Sensei. We're gonna call him Sensei, Benicio del Toro, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what
I can't
his
remember what the character's name
name. I
is,
just got
but
yeah.
it's cutting back from like Bob on the phone to Sensei, like getting everything ready, and there's a moment where he's reaching for the gun underneath the bed and he can't reach it, and so he just like
Oh yeah,
slightly adjusts himself and then like gets it, and it's like a very throwaway shot, throwaway moment, but that little moment is like pretty much his entire character. He's like, if there's
dude.
anything that's like that kind of messes with the plan or that he doesn't expect, just slightly adjusts and then he just keeps it going. He keeps it going. That's what happens when in that moment where we'll get. I'm sure that was on the notes as well, where Bob ends up getting captured and arrested when he falls off the
Yeah,
building. That's like the big
man, that was
the big wrench in his plan. But then what does Sensei do? He's like, all right, well, we got to go over there now and get him. And then they very smoothly get him out of there. It's like his character is so nonchalant and like very, like you said, chill, very smooth with everything he does, and like at no point does he feel out of control. You know,
yeah.
he's probably my favorite character in the
No,
movie,
that's super.
to be honest.
Yeah, almost pretty much for me too. And IMDb says his full name is Sensei Sergio Saint
Oh,
Carlos,
yeah, I should have remembered that.
but no, because I don't think they ever say his
Yeah,
name.
He only
Um,
says sensei
or you know
through the
what?
whole thing.
A soldier
yeah, I
says his
think you're
name.
right.
I
Yeah.
think when they're looking at it at the calendar with Chase or with Willa in there, and they say like, "Oh, I need a residential address for Sergio Saint Carlos or something." But Sensei Benicio del Toro, amazing. I hope he gets nominated for an
Me too.
Oscar.
Because I think Sean
Yeah.
Penn is a lock. He's probably gonna end up winning the whole thing, winning Best Supporting Actor. To be honest, like I'm
Yeah.
not saying he like should,
Relax,
but he probably will.
relax.
To be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I agree. Like, Sean Penn, he was not Sean Penn. Like, he was totally this other person, and it, like, just physically and, like, just the tics he had, like, in his face and, like, all the different ways that he was, like, expressing himself. Like, I do not see Sean Penn at all in this. This is crazy.
Yeah, such an amazing performance. Okay, I'll just go through these really quickly. But we cool homes when Bob is confronting Bluto, I think
Bluto,
is
yeah.
his name. I just thought that whole scene was really great. And when Willa gives him a hug at the end and he just kind of pats her back, it's like, they still had that father-daughter
Yeah.
connection. even though she had kind of just chewed him out like 2 minutes earlier. Hail Saint Nick. Let's hail Saint Nick. It just the whole thing was marvelous.
Christmas Adventures.
Christmas Adventures almost reminds me of Adventures in Odyssey. But I'll just leave that there. Thank you, Sensei. So continue the ocean ways, but just the whole thing, like he's like, what? Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Viva la Revolution. And then like the whole thing where like Benicio del Toro, he closes the door on the floor and the carpet rolls perfectly.
Great shot.
And then the police show up right after and walk right over the part of the carpet. I was just like, oh, that's beautiful. That was so good. And then of course, like you mentioned before, Carlos falling and getting captured. To me, like up until that moment, the shots were beautiful, and I just thought like the skateboarders just like running in the night, like as silhouettes, and then obviously Bob clumsily falling afterwards, like a Homer Simpson character, was just like amazing. And then he just like falls. And the first time I watched it shocked me. The second time I was ready for it, so I just laughed out loud. So good.
It was just funny because, like, the way he was talking to the skateboarders, it's like he wanted them to keep up with him. And then the whole time he's just struggling to, like, parkour these buildings.
Yeah. It's like if you put Michael Scott in the Revolution, just...
It's more like putting what's his name? The dude from The Big Lebowski.
Oh, I need to see that movie. I haven't seen that one yet.
It's great.
But that character, right? He's like that's just that's a youth thing, brother, or whatever. Or
what in that?
Like when you talk about religion or something, he's like,
wait, who?
Anyways,
Sorry.
Oh, and the Big Lebowski. Anyways, I need to go. I need to go see it. Okay, cool. Any other moments that you guys want to point out? Because there's so many more, but that was a list I put together.
I really love the scene where I can't remember her name, but the Regina Hall character, when she Deandra, when she goes to pick up Willa at the prom in the bathroom like at prom night.
Yes. The music.
Dude, like that little melody that those devices play. That it's such a brilliant idea to have like just as like a little recurring like motif or whatever in the movie.
Yes.
But like the actual melody that plays, the way that it like fits. It fits so perfectly in each scene that it's in, and in that scene in particular, it's like I don't know, it like brings you this sense of like urgency, but also like worry that like things are going crazy, like things are going down now, right? Like and like Chase Infinity, the actress playing Willa, amazing job in the whole movie. Like she can express so much with her eyes and like her face, and in that scene she's like doing so much heavy lifting besides the music,
right?
And Regina Hall is great too, but like just like she's not even saying anything, or like she's just repeating back like the codes, and like she's communicating so much more just with her face.
Like before Regina Hall tells her that I knew your mom and your dad, like I'm thinking for her she's like, is this my mom? Like, who is this person? Like, I'm scared. Like, my dad was right. Like, because she just said, like, no one's coming for you, Bob. You're just paranoid.
It's one of those things. Yeah, sorry,
like
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, finish.
It's one of those things that, like, they've been preparing for their whole lives, but, like, never had to actually worry about. So she reached that point, like you said, where, like, you're just paranoid. Like, they've never come for us. When is it gonna happen? Probably never, but, never mind. Right now. It's happening.
Yeah. And the timing, like, completely surprised me in that moment, too. Because I just thought, she's in the bathroom. No biggie, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Michelle. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was great. Also, it's kind of like this is why we train kind of moments. Like this is why we prepare, like just because you never know like what's gonna happen. But I think it was really cool, which is kind of getting into the next section. But like I feel like the way that they created that system and for it to be it's not like alarming for other people, but when you know what the sound is, like you know what's going on. So it's like a very nondescript, way of like, I guess, communicating with other people. And um I don't know, I just thought it was great. It's like just a single melody is like all you need. You're not like revealing anything, you're not saying anything, there's no secret word or anything. It's like it's just a song. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and that to me was my one of my only critiques is I wish, especially in the third act, if they had used those devices a little bit more. Like I thought Bob was gonna track her down by using that device in the final chase sequences, but it's all good. Getting to the next section, technology in OBA. How do you fight a revolution in the modern world? And so, like again, this was just I'm a computer science major. I'm a software engineer. I use technology. I understand these terms, and so I just thought the way that it was written was some of the best, I guess, tech writing that I've seen in a while from like non-tech people. Because again, you go back to the old movies like Hackers, where it's all these weird like 3D screens, and what's her name is like hacking through the system, but it's just like it looks like a very old kind of Tron video gamey kind of thing. Yeah. So I thought like the whole, and I forget the character's name, but when he shares the trust devices with Bob as they're running away or getting ready to run away, I thought that was just really smart.
Sorry, can you say that last part one more time?
Yeah, just like him like showing Bob the trust devices. I just that whole concept I thought was very smart. It's like not just from like a writing perspective, but just from a practicality perspective. Like how the whole idea in this world, as we get into trust and trustless platforms. That's the whole thing with crypto. It can be trustless. You can have a digital wallet. You can have these NFTs. You can just trust because you're gonna let the devices do their job without any interference by people. And so I thought these trust devices were like it was a great idea that I'm sure he got from somewhere. But I honestly I could see that happening in real life.
Totally.
Yeah, and then just other moments too where they discuss like you can't use regular cell phones if you use 1G. I think he said 2G, but I just put 1G here in our notes. But again, that makes sense. I've seen this in other movies. I think the fourth Live Free Die Hard movie, they had a sequence where they're talking about how you could communicate via like the SAT channels, and don't want to get too technical with it, but just the idea like you're using the same communication networks that everyone else is using, but you're using the ones that aren't frequently used, and so in that way there's not as much security, not people scanning. And again, it's very practical. You don't have to get into like the gobbledygook of different techno lingo, and it's practical. It makes sense.
Yeah, like security.
Yeah, I think like
no, I was not gonna mad much. Go ahead.
okay. Oh, I was just thinking too, like what you were saying, because you know all that kind of stuff. I am not as familiar, but it still made sense to me. Like it wasn't like it didn't like go above my head. Like it was kind of not basic, like it was complicated in a way, but it like the way they described it and the way that they were showing like how to use it and how it was done, it felt like really practical, and it made sense for somebody who doesn't know how all of that stuff works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then honestly, it just came down to just using payphones, stuff that people do in movies all the time to kind of keep their conversations anonymous. But I put in a couple of what ifs here. Like when they did the bank robbery, I get it. Obviously, from a movie standpoint, it helps prepare the plot forward. But I think in practicality, this is where you'd want like a group like this to partner with a hacking group and maybe do like cryptocurrency. Obviously, PTA was working on this like for 10 years, so maybe he didn't know about cryptocurrency or doesn't understand the nuances of the blockchain. But as we've seen with different political figures using their own coins and meme coins to gain fundraising, I could totally see like a group like this, if this were to happen in the future, using meme coins to like actually be the primary way that they fund their projects instead of like outright robbing people. Like
Yeah,
yeah. So I just that was like an interesting thing that I was thinking about.
that is interesting. I think though, like why I'm able to like, I guess buy it more, that scene where they're robbing a bank is in the past. But the thing
That's
is,
true.
I don't really know when this movie takes place, right? They
That's
don't
fair.
really ever
That's
say it,
fair.
right? They don't say outright like what year it is or anything. They just say like
Right.
that the part at the beginning takes place, whenever it does, and then the rest of the movie is 16 years later.
Yeah. And there's a narration, I think, right by Bob that not much has changed. Or
Yeah, I think it
something
was
as they
I
transition.
think it was Perfidia narrating. Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, not much
Mm-hmm.
has changed. Yeah, and then I also think too, but obviously it can make the movie seem cringe when you introduce hacker groups because I don't hacking's like a weird thing to put into a movie because like how do you make it seem practical without it being like, ooh, he's doing hacking.
Yeah.
It's almost like wizardry in a
Yeah.
way.
Apparently, Mr. Robot does a pretty good job, but I haven't seen that show, so I can't really say.
That's true. I forgot about that. That's true. It does do a good job. I've seen like most of the first
Okay.
season, so it does a good job. I think the problem then what would that setup look like and what characters would be doing that, right? And then you gotta be careful as a writer, like can hacking solve every single problem kind of thing. Cool. Any other thoughts on the technology uses in the movie before we move on? Coolio. No problem. But again, I really want a trust device now.
Yeah.
Like, I just really want them because again, just as we were thinking about, again, not even like super political, but just like privacy rights, data privacy rights, the rise in agentic AI and large language models, and how we now can see like the culmination of all our data being put into these techno giants and their systems. You're seeing like generations of people wanting to go back to technologies that are still useful but then aren't like smart devices, so they're not taking your data.
Yeah.
So people wanting to go back to like basic iPods, or go back to CD players, go back to tape players, go back to DVDs, so they can actually own physical media, not give away data to a third party without them knowing about it, also not have their locations tracked.
Yeah.
And so I think devices like this, for instance, people like smartphones so they can know people's location. But if you had a trust device, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't have to worry about other people, other companies knowing your location. So just some thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. Right or wrong? I'm not sure about this section. I just threw it in here just because it's it's hard not to talk about this movie without the political aspects of it. The movie starts out with the freeing of people from an immigration camp, and obviously in 2025 that's been like a huge talking point politically in our country, and it's been happening for years. So it does make me wonder about the timing of this movie, but it's also curious because PTA has been working on this film for 10 years. From a right or wrong kind of situation, like how did y'all feel about those scenes being portrayed in this movie?
What do you mean by from right or wrong? Like how he portrayed it, or portraying these ideas in general? Is it right or wrong?
Yeah, I guess a little bit of both. Like from the actual idea itself, and then how like the fact that he portrayed it.
I don't think it's wrong that he portrayed it. I think that's great. I guess I don't know. They could have made. I was talking to my brother about this. He was mentioning that they could have made the actual detention facilities look a little bit more like there's a scene where there's like kids playing around at one point while they're in there, and like I don't know, maybe show how like miserable it can be in there, but at the same time I do kind of like seeing that shot of the kids like playing around with whatever they're given there, because it's like fitting in the theme of like this optimism for like future generations, you know. But
Yeah, and to that, I think the reason why I like the way it was portrayed, in the sense that, like, yes, there are those moments where it's terrible. You know, if people are sick in those situations, or when they first get in there. But then at some point, like, you know, people are adapting to the situation, and I think just like the general environment, the fact that they're in cages, trying to find material to sleep on, is bad enough as it is. And it's sad enough where the kids are just adapting to the point where they're even playing with the stuff that was given to them. To me, that was good enough for me. But I understand where you're scoring.
No, actually, I agree. I do agree with you, though. Ultimately, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is such like a. I mean, nobody wants to be in an immigration camp. Like it is a terrible place to be because you're not at home. You're just stuck in this limbo of like, where are you gonna go versus like where you want to be. And it's, I mean, the way you guys were talking about it was just making me think of like, it is very hard and difficult for the people in that situation, but it's also like you have to find ways to like keep your sanity in those moments. And when you like, no matter who it is or like where you're trapped or stuck or whatever, you try to find ways to like just keep yourself going, because if you're losing all hope, it's like you, I don't know, like it's over at that point, I
Yeah.
think. So just the will of the human spirit or whatever, I don't know, like that kind of helps you to like try to find joy wherever you can, because it is such a hopeless situation. Like that's the way that you get through it every day, is to find those little moments of joy.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And it's interesting, like, you know, if you think about films like any pretty much any of the Robin Hood films, where at some point Robin Hood has to save the Lady Marianne, I think her name is, the character.
Maid Marian.
And to me, yeah, Larry Marianne. Oh, no.
Maid Marian. I don't know.
Miriam.
Miriam. There you go. But like, it's funny because some of the discourse that you've seen online for this film, it's like, oh, it's heavily, you know, supporting either left or right. I just think it's a human issue, right? And the whole scene of them freeing those people, to me, it's no different than watching Robin Hood freeing his band of rebels, right? In his situation, it's just it feels if it triggers something different, because we're seeing like people, you know, they have guns and they're like, you know, tying up people and stuff like that, and it feels worse, I guess. But it really is the same thing. It's just funny how the response is different.
Like, yeah, these same people will watch. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I hear, Andor is very anti-fascist, anti-authoritarian type of show. That's pretty much what it's about, right? Which also is Star Wars. Star Wars is that,
right?
A lot of people who will say like, "Oh man, you know, Star Wars is so good when it's not woke," but it's like, but it's like they have this movie, which is doing like similar things to Star Wars in a lot of ways, where it's like this kind of hero's journey. It's like this character who's
rebels versus
empire type of thing. It's just, instead of like, you know, masking what it's really about with, you know, like a sci-fi fantasy world, it's like, no, this is really what we're talking about. Like, it's not like it's still going to be a fun movie, like a fun action adventure story, but like, it's not hiding any of its subtext. It's just straight up what it is.
Yeah, and again too, like, authoritarianism and fascism can come in multiple contexts. It can come from a more, you know, right context and a more left context. Either way, as long as you're taking away people's freedoms, right? You know, then it doesn't really matter, you know, what the ideology is behind it. It's still authoritarianism. And so, yeah, I just thought it was a really good scene, and like, you know, showing again the French 75, you know, freeing them shows them in the right. But as you get to know them, you do see how flawed they are and how, you know, they're not perfect. And even individually, they still have a lot to work on, kind of thing. and even say that they fail. Right? They're not even fully successful in what they want to do. This is a brief moment, but there was they showed the planting of like a protester where
Yes.
it was obviously a police agent, and they threw stuff to kind of to get the crowd.
Agitate.
Yeah, there you go, agitate.
Artificially agitate,
And
right? Yeah.
yes, exactly. And to me, like that felt good to me. Like I felt cleansed because I feel gaslit every time I say this to somebody. Like they do this again. It's a movie. We don't know for sure. But like when books come out about CIA operations, like we know there's a tactic that can be used. And so I just thought the fact that it was put in there, I was like really thankful
Yeah,
for.
me too. I thought that was a really great little moment, and like kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say ballsy when it's like a big movie like this, but it kind of is a little bit to like, because that almost feels like a conspiracy theory, but at the same time, it's highly likely, right? In comparison, at least in comparison to like other conspiracy theories, and the fact that they're just like in this
Yeah.
movie, like, oh, this is what they're doing, and like I believe that this, like these people would do this, that they would plant someone like that, especially. And then when you look at like real life, anytime there's a protest, what do they label it as? A riot, right?
Right. Right.
And it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead. That was done.
Yeah. No, no, I'm good. Michelle, I know you wanted to say something.
It was a little slightly off topic, but I guess it's kind of in that category of like favorite moments. But like when Bob was trying to talk to one of his own people on the phone, and they were like specifically like, no, you need to finish the phrase. And he was like, he would like, because you were talking earlier about how they were flawed and they had their own issues going on the other side. So it's like it's not like one side is like pure and holy and the other side is like evil and horrible. It's like there's like a lot of gray areas and there's a lot of dysfunction on both sides, and like it's like um it was just like interesting to me to see like him having such a hard time. Like he's just trying to like talk to somebody and they're like giving him a hard time, and then he finally talks to his friend, and then it's actually like he totally understands and they know each other and it's fine. But it's interesting to see like the two different sides, and their flaws and all the mistakes that they're making, and I guess what their motives are and their intentions are. And this film, it does set it like a good versus evil, but there's still like mistakes that both sides are
Yeah,
making in different ways.
yeah. Like even the rebellion has to go through bureaucratic red tape. Like
Yeah,
these revolutionaries have their own bureaucracy. It's really funny.
exactly. Exactly. Okay, so here's one that in a way kind of hits more on the other side, ratting out comrades. Like the film didn't shy away from the fact that Perfidia, as much as people loved her, I'm seeing a lot of Perfidia love online. She was a rat.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go to jail for 40 years, which I understand. I wouldn't want to do that either. But at the cost of getting your comrades killed, she was a rat. And so again, one of the good things about this film is it shows both sides. It shows the hard parts of actually trying to be a revolutionary. It's not easy. It's not something to be glorified. It's not something where it's like it's just this easy
Yeah.
pathway because you're on the side of right. And that's one thing I love about Andor. And I thought with one battle after another, it did this also like very very well, just very well done.
I think again, it was kind of like what Carlos was saying earlier about how her character is like really layered, and her it's interesting. It's like she was so like gung ho about like fighting the revolution and all this stuff, and then when it came down to like her facing consequences for certain things that she had done, it's like, okay, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, kind of a thing. But she still wanted that freedom that she was
Yeah,
fighting for, but now it looked different. And it was like, well, the way to get the freedom, which is the main thing I think she wanted out of everything. That's why she didn't want to be with her daughter, and that's why she left her family and all this stuff. And that's why she was like ratting out people. She wanted freedom. But it's like, okay, at what cost do you want freedom? And what are you willing to give up for freedom? Um, but it was also like a morally gray area because it's like, okay, how like is it bad to give up these things for freedom? And how much should we have to give up for our own freedom? And like, does it come at a cost, and is the cost worth it and all that stuff? So I was kind of thinking of that when I was like thinking about her story and what she was trying to give up and obtain at the same time. And how does that align with like if we were in that situation, what would we do and
yeah,
how would we go about it and what are we willing to give up or to put up with? Like what is our moral compass and how do we choose what is right and wrong and what's worth it and what isn't worth it?
yeah. Exactly,
Very well
exactly.
said.
Like, what's that famous quote? If you're not a man who has not found something worth dying for is not fit to live. I think. I don't know who said it, but someone said that. Um, and so this movie showed multiple times where certain people were willing to die for what they believed in, and others weren't. Um, and so, like on the police side, they none of them rat each other out. You know,
Yeah, they're the police. They're the biggest organized gang in the world.
No, but the Christmas Adventure people did.
well, no, so technically, Lockjaw wasn't a part of them yet.
True.
But yeah, they're so.
Yeah,
It is true though that they're how willing they are to kill one of their own for making a mistake, right? Like
yeah,
a perceived
yeah,
mistake.
and that leads me to our last subject. And if Carlos and Michelle, if you have a few more minutes, we'll stop the live show and then we'll do some Patreon content. But racial purity. This movie actually hinges on the idea of racial purity because it is like the main motivation for the Christmas adventures getting into action and going after Lockjaw. It's the main reason why Lockjaw is chasing down Willa, for the DNA test. Obviously, racial purity is a wrong or a bad a bad idea, a bad ideology. But the way it was used as like as a force for moving the plot forward, yeah. What did y'all think of that? Do you think it was enough of a plot driver for this film, or do you think the film needed more to create the conflict that it had?
No, I think it was enough. Like that, it's pretty much
Michelle?
Lockjaw's entire motivation and what kicks off like the whole like real story, right? Like he
Yeah,
needs to he needs to make sure confirm that Will is his daughter, right? And then
yeah,
there's that layer of tension in that scene where they're waiting to find out the results. Like I think that the way it's used pretty much drives like the whole story in a pretty interesting way.
yeah. That's true. That's true. Like at first, I was like, "Oh, this is he really wants to be a Christmas adventurer." But then, like when he's like pushing her out the door, he's like, "I'm going to be part of something bigger than you. That's worth more than having you." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow!" Like he really, really wants to be a Christmas adventurer.
That title makes me laugh every
Yeah.
time I hear it.
Yeah,
I think like in a way it's like just that whole concept is showing how ridiculous the whole racial purity thing is. Like,
Yeah.
just I don't know. It's this idea. It's so ironic because the whole idea is like we need to stay pure because we don't want anything lesser than ourselves to like be involved in this Christmas adventure community or whatever. But they're so flawed themselves already, and they're so blind to how they're flawed and the way that they're treating people and the way that like their whatever their standards are, it's like not based in reality. It's like this weird ideal that they have in their head of what they think they are. But when it comes to what they actually are, they're not great people, but they're trying to keep it pure and like, oh, you have to be one of us or you have to be up to our level or whatever. But it's so the opposite of
Yeah,
that.
and it's funny though because there's even the moment where when Lockjaw first meets like the head of the organization or whoever that guy is, he says when he describes it, he's like, when you're a part of us, it doesn't mean that you're like wiser or like I don't know better looking or something. I don't know what he says, but he says it just means that you're superior to everyone else. Like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like he already countered himself in that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's super true. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird, but it was interesting. Again, I don't know what's in PTA's mind, but it made me think that the whole thing where he starts the film with the rounding up of individuals who are considered illegal, right? And they obviously were pretty much all brown people, right? And then you have this group in the background that's kind of puppeteering a lot of stuff, and they're wanting like racial white purity, right? It just kind of gave you the sense that this overarching reasoning for why this conflict is even happening is because of deep-seated racism at some point, right? So it's like, yeah, it was crazy. It was just crazy to me that all the motivations. In the end, like people were cheering when that Christmas Adventure shot Lockjaw. So I don't know. It's very interesting. The movie's going all over the places, and I love it for that reason. From that standpoint, it is 101. We were just going for an hour. If you enjoyed this, thank you so much. And if you want to see more of our discussion, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Musty Creative. And thank you to Carlos and Michelle for being here for the Musty Creative Live show. We appreciate y'all. We'll be here next month. Look forward to us talking about Begonia. Look forward to us talking about Hamnet, the Smash Machine. Tron Ares apparently might be good, so we might actually talk about that. Carlos is already saying no. And getting you ready for the Thanksgiving season. Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Take care and peace and stay musty.